Hey everybody, just wanted to give another update especially for Thrive partners, prayer partners, and those who give financially. Thank you so much for your giving. It's what makes it possible to do what we do. And just wanted to give you an update about this last trip to Ukraine and France and Poland. Some of you have seen some of this on the Trinity podcast or the YouTube channel. So I wanted to just give you a little extra behind the scenes story for you guys like I usually do. Just wanted a few pictures. This is, of course, my low-tech way of doing this. I'm sorry about that, but it is at least some way to get some information to you guys that not everybody else gets. So this is the pastor and his wife in Ukraine. This is Sergey and Catherine and our Serge and Katya. And they are the ones that we've been working with here in Ukraine. He's the pastor of the church. She is a pastor's wife and a military chaplain. She's the one that I told the story about. She delivered her child, her youngest child, the day that the war started, while bombs were falling around the city, and she was literally in the bottom of like a bunker of a hospital, delivering the baby. They've been in an amazing year and a half of turmoil and activity, and they're like Grand Central Station. They are getting refugees out and getting food supplies and things that are needed into the very war-torn areas of Ukraine, and they're doing incredible things. This is actually a picture of Katya as she's standing in front of the board there in their church, and this is these are the chevrons of the places where their church has gone, different areas in Ukraine where their church has gone to take aid to, and there's actually more than that. There's actually another case full of those. That's just how many places they've been and how much work they've done. It's really amazing, and they showed some videos from the front area. It's just really brutal what's going on, and we need to pray for that. Continue to pray, but at the same time, there's great things happening in the church, and so I wanted to show you a picture of the church that they meet in, and the service I was at. This is the worship team. You can see the church is full. I'm going to direct your attention to these two people right here. The worship leaders there, they were actually at my first conference in Western Ukraine. The first one I did in the western part. I've actually been in Ukraine since 2004, I think, but in 2014, I think I did a worship conference in Chernivtsi, and they were at that conference along with their spouses, and I've kind of walked with them through the years, through their worship journey, and they do an amazing job doing worship. And Andrei, a friend here, and his wife are planting a church in Czech Republic among the refugees there, Ukrainian-speaking refugees in the Czech Republic, because there are Ukrainians all over Europe now. Millions of them have fled, and they're all over the place. And he not only is a worship leader, but he's now a pastor. And this is something that's been a real blessing to me to see their growth. I also taught them when they were in school in Moscow. They went to school in Moscow, a ministry school there, and I was there while they were there. And so we have a little history, and so it's really great to see what they're doing there. Another thing I wanted to show you in in Poland. Showed this on Sunday morning, but this is so exciting to me. Of course, it was a worship songwriters camp that we did. These guys and gals are absolutely amazing. They were the creativity was really amazing there. They're from all over Poland. They're from many different denominations. They're also from Catholic and Protestant backgrounds, and there was you get a lot of people together of any kind, but especially musicians. You get them together and they're doing music together. There's ego, there's insecurity, there's comparison, criticism, whatever, negative things. That I'm going to tell you, there was just basically zero of that at this conference. It was such a beautiful, beautiful spirit among them, encouraging each other. They wrote 30 songs in a little over 4 days, and we recorded most of them in rough recordings, and they will be recording them, the ones, maybe 10 or so of the ones that are most conducive to church worship, and making them available on a website called songwriters.pl. That's in Polish, so it doesn't really, you can't look that up, but songwriter.pl. So they're going to make those available to the churches there. It's just amazing. But one of the great things that I loved about it is that I was able to mentor them all these 8 months in the gospel. And this is a little video that I showed on Sunday. This is a morning session where we were talking about the gospel, and this is the little gospel booklet, application of the gospel to your life practically. And we have initiated the translation of that into Polish, and they were studying it, and I'm going to just show you this video here.
Tych rzeczy dlatego, że to właśnie chrześcijanie powinni robić. Czynimy je naszym celem, ponieważ to jest życie, którego Bóg dla nas chce.
And they're all
Życie
just really
przemieniającą radością, nadzieją, miłością.
intensely studying the gospel.
Ten wykres, umieszanie znaczenia krzyża.
And it's just beautiful to see that and what the Lord has done through them, to them through the gospel, to hear the stories and then hear the songs, which are, I wish I could play them, but they just don't have enough time to do that. Uniquely Polish songs, written by Poles in Polish language, not translating from the outside language, and full of the gospel. And it's just so beautiful. And each morning we also took some of those songs and we worshiped with them. And so here's a little bit of that footage. Beautiful. It was just beautiful to be with them and to see what God's doing. 1 week after this camp happened, there was a large outdoor stadium worship event in Wrocław. Jeremy Riddle was there. Some of you may know Jeremy Riddle. He's probably written songs that you've sung before. He was there from the States, but there I think were 5 people from our camp on the stage with him, sharing the stage that day at this worship event. It was about 30,000 people outdoors. So it's beautiful to see what God's doing there in those generations. And one thing I wanted to share with you too, is that something that happened to me while I was there. Just something a little personal. I really, since Melissa got sick and died, I haven't written any music really. There's just not been any melodies, any spark of any melodies at all. And through the years, I've written songs, quite a few songs. Music's a big part of my life, but just didn't have any melodies. And so I remember a couple of months ago at a worship session there in Poland, I was asking the Lord, I just would love, I love it if you'd send the melodies again, because it's just been dry. And well, at this camp, in the midst of this creativity and these healing relationships and the beauty of what God's doing there, I woke up one morning with a song, and I wrote a song. And actually, I wrote a part of a song that was the finishing part of a song that I had started writing a few years back. And anyway, the melody came back, and it was just really, really sweet. I got to play it for the guys and gals there, and just let them know that they were part of my healing. They've been walking with me through this whole lament journey, and they know all about my what I've been going through. So that's just a real special thing. That's just a little kiss from the Lord. But this week was a very special week, and I wanted to give you a little extra information too about what happened in France. Of course, in France, I was with Philip Adams, and we were in Normandy, and we were working with some of the church plants that are there. They have a group of 7 or 8 churches that are being planted, small churches just being planted in the Normandy region. And just wanted to play you a little bit of the worship that happens at that church, and you can see what church planting looks like in France, in the Normandy region. So you can see it's a very diverse group of people there, multiple nations. And you can continue to pray for those church plants. It's not easy. It's a struggle. It's usually very small groups, but also very faithful people there. And it's a real privilege to be able to serve them and to bring whatever we can bring to them. And I think, of course, part of what Thrive is about is creating relationships with these pastors and leaders, and continuing on with these relationships and building through the years. And I know what Philip has built there, and the partnership we have with him is going to bear a lot of fruit in the future. So just wanted to throw that out there. A few things that maybe everybody didn't get to hear about this trip. It was a whirlwind trip. Of course, some of you know I didn't get my luggage for the first 12 days. But it really, when you're in a war-torn country and you don't have your luggage, the luggage really doesn't mean anything at all. There's so many things happening there, and there's so much effect of the war in every area that really, not having your luggage is such a small thing. And in some ways, we left there feeling like we did such a small thing, but we really did a lot. We ministered on family, ministered on the Holy Spirit, ministered to the chaplains. We ministered in the church about lament. We did a prophetic evening, in the evening, worship night. We did a lot, and the church there was so grateful for what Phil and I brought, and they just said it was just huge, but we felt like it was tiny, just little, because the need is so big. But we're grateful to be able to do what we did do, and of course we could not do that if it wasn't for people who are praying for us and people who are giving. So continue to pray for that, and I'm grateful. I really appreciate all of you so much. And next trip is going to be 3 weeks from now, August 20th. I'm going to be taking off for Kenya and Tanzania, and I'll send an email out about that. So God bless you guys.